Hello, I'm Sarah Jensen, editor of OEM Off Highway, and welcome to Design and Engineering Insights. Today, I'll be speaking with Nick Block, Director, Global Marketing and Sales at John Deere Power Systems, about some of the industry trends the company is currently seeing in the heavy equipment industries. So thank you for joining me today, Nick.
Hi, Sarah. Yeah, glad to be here.
So maybe just to sort of start the conversation, maybe with on the topic of electrification, since that's pretty big in the many industries, including the heavy equipment industries. How do you maybe foresee electrification continuing to advance in heavy equipment industries?
Yeah, electrification is certainly mainstreaming while we're seeing machines becoming smarter and more connected. So as the control solutions become more powerful and precise, it's really creating an ideal landscape to introduce more efficient electrified solutions, which can solve for some of those customer needs that persist. So we're gaining more experience in designing and implementing electrification solutions in off-highway equipment and essentially building from the capability we have in drivetrain components to broaden and enhance our electrification offerings across the powertrain.
Are there any applications you're seeing in which electrification might be most beneficial, or some that it would not be as beneficial?
Yeah, and I think we got to look really about the customer needs, and that's really what is driving it right now. You know, there's a wide variety of requirements for different applications that take place. For drivetrain, we really saw this, and as a result, we focused on customizing solutions in a modular approach so that they could apply differently based on those customer applications. And where we're really seeing electrification come into the light is where customers in ag, as an example, need more precision. There's also other applications where maybe they need quieter operation, where we're seeing some of that in our smaller equipment, our compact construction equipment. So those are a few of the things that we're starting to see develop that electrification really can play a key role in.
And so has the modular route that John Deere has taken for its electrification components, how has that helped meet those customer needs or benefited the company in working with customers?
Yeah, again, it just allows us to adapt it, you know, across different areas. There's a few things that we need to be conscious of as we're designing and implementing solutions. First of all, it has to be looked at as an optimized system. Mm-hmm. So we're really, take hybridization for an example, we'll really, in that type of a format, be dealing with the integration of different components in the system. So we need to drive a balance between mechanical, hydraulic, and electric power, along with the cost of the overall design. So that's why we've really been focused on that scalable, flexible, modular approach, because it allows us to generate and deliver a variety of power solutions, which we believe will be needed. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of what we're thinking through as we get into this space a little further.
Okay, great. So what are maybe some of the biggest hurdles to implementing electrification in off-highway equipment?
Yeah, there's certainly a few worth highlighting. I think, you know, one to start with would be the cycle times of the customers in off-highway. It really creates some limitation based on current battery technology, especially as we get above 100 kilowatt. Mm-hmm. So we also have to understand in addition to that, the trade-offs between costs and the weight of electrification in order to provide the power levels necessary for off-highway applications. And again, we've been talking about modular, but a singular solution will be challenging given the significant variation in requirements. But having said all that, it's clear electrification technologies progress significantly. And as a result, we really feel we are at the tipping point for adoption in off-highway applications.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so you were mentioning before about hybridization. How might hybrid solutions help with the introduction of electrification in the off-highway market? And how is John Deere maybe going about developing some hybrid solutions for customers?
Yeah, and as I kind of alluded to earlier, they're certainly going to play a key role in many applications where full battery electric's not able to meet the cycle time and the power needs of the customers in off-highway. And so we're really looking at it from both a powertrain standpoint as well as a drivetrain, and that integration from a systems approach. And I kind of alluded to it earlier, but those are some of the pieces that have to come together as we look to optimize that system overall for our customers in the off-highway space.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I know the company recently collaborated with the manufacturer Joskin to integrate some of its electrification components. Could you maybe talk about how that partnership worked and how John Deere components were integrated into the Joskin equipment?
Yeah, sir, that's a good example we can build from in what we've talked about so far. So the outcome of the collaboration with Joskin was what we call the Deere e-auto power transmission. And so what that does is it utilizes two high power electric machines instead of the conventional hydrostatic unit. And we do that to achieve the required gear ratio. One of those machines is coupled to the engine, and the other electric machine is coupled to the summing planetaries. And it allows us to deliver infinitely adjustable wheel speeds. The electric machines are then coupled through a dual inverter, which controls the electric power. And overall, we get a solution that really represents the first electromechanical power split gearbox in the ag industry.
Okay. And so so that if it's the first in the industry, there aren't really others like it, or maybe what makes it different from other hybrid solutions that might be out there in the industry?
Yeah, and I think the innovation of that solution, if we start to think about that, maybe I'll start with, from a customer lens perspective, what makes it innovative or unique. So the final product offers for the customer increased efficiency, better fuel economy, lower maintenance, gives them predictable and consistent traction, as well as it reduces the damage in the field. The other innovative part about the technology is the integration. Competitive solutions today are available, but they require OEMs to add electric power inverters to drive the electric traction motors, as well as traction assist logic. And it has to be done using additional communications over isobus. So it's quite complex and costly to do all that. Whereas the John Deere traction solution inherently contains the required power electronics, and it ties into the native power train control strategy, which provides increased control performance. So to sum that all up, the e-auto power transmission configuration enables really an entirely new set of technologies, which includes the offboard electrification, electric energy storage, precise speed control, predictive maintenance, automation, et cetera. And the electromechanical power split gearbox configuration that I mentioned earlier, it gives us a foundation for solutions to apply to future applications as well.
Okay, great. And so I know there's other alternative power sources that companies like John Deere Power Systems are looking into besides electrification. Maybe maybe looking towards the next several years in the heavy equipment industry. What role does the company see alternative fuels, for instance, playing?
Yeah, that'll be a key one too, Sarah. And alternative fuels are going to be an essential part of the total solution that we offer as we really work to reduce net CO2 emissions in the future. And petroleum-based fuels have really been the industry standard for years. And that's primarily been due to the lack of acceptable or cost-effective, reliable alternatives. But with the growing interest in sustainable energy, alternative fuels are really becoming more widely adopted and readily available. So as we're looking at it, and within the variety of the available alternative fuels, we consider the biomass-based fuels, such as renewable diesel, to be one of the ways that alternative fuels can integrate into heavy equipment. And we support the use of biomass-based fuels because we recognize that it's important for our customers and as well as the environment.
Okay. What makes those types of fuels a good fit for the off-highway equipment industry?
Yeah, I think, one thing off-highway customers really look for is power density and the ability to have long operating ranges because of the different areas they operate in. So some of the alternative fuels, such as renewable diesel and biodiesel, allow them to maintain that power density using a diesel engine technology, whereas others maybe have lower operating ranges, but we're also evaluating those to see how they could play an important role as engine technologies continue to adapt more of those alternative fuels.
Mhm. And what about maybe diesel fueled engines? We keep hearing, some places are going to maybe try to phase them out, but many industries like the heavy equipment industry, they're still going to be needed. So what's kind of the future for diesel engines that you guys are seeing?
Yeah, we believe diesel still has a long life ahead of it. The relatively remote operating characteristics of John Deere ag and construction equipment will continue to remain the same, and that continues to place a premium on energy density of diesel, which is difficult to find in most alternative fuels. And in addition to that, really, if you look at the technology that's available today in current generation advanced diesel engine designs, as well as the emission control technologies, it provides not only lower emissions than in the past, but it also continues to provide a highly efficient and powerful, durable engine, which the customers in the off-highway space require.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today and provide some insights into what John Deere Power Systems is seeing in the industry at the moment.
Happy to be here. It is certainly a dynamic time to think about how diesel technology and alternative fuels and other technologies will continue to support the off-highway customer. And so it's great to have a conversation with you about that and spend some time talking through it.